Hello, this is Dave Willett from Vault Solutions, and I'm here to show you our Archive Accelerator export product, which allows you to export data from Enterprise Vault, mailbox archives, or journal archives. First of all, I'll show you how you would export data using Enterprise Vault out of the box. So this is the Enterprise Vault Management Console, and as you can see here, there's an archives section. So to export data from the archives, you would just right click here, select export, and then there's a wizard that shows up allowing you to export, and there's various options here, but what I'm going to be doing is exporting data to PST files. So you can have it list archives that you want to export, and I'll just select a few of these archives and click next. And then as you can see, I've got some options here around date ranges, things like that. I'm going to take the defaults and export everything, export them to this directory here, and use the defaults for the format of the PST file. And it shows me the options that I've selected, and I'm just going to say next, and it starts to export. So as you can see, it's very simple to go through this process, use this wizard, and start to export data very quickly using Enterprise Vault. Now, the real problem here for if you have a large number of archives to export is that this is exporting archives one at a time. So it would be great for a handful of archives, but if you have hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of archives to export, it may be difficult to manage and take just too much time. Now I'll show you how to use Archive Accelerator Export to export data from Enterprise Vault. This is the management console for Archive Accelerator, and this shows you the task list, the list of tasks that we have here, and I've got this export task running on this server here. You can run it on multiple servers. And what I'll show you over here is in this export section under unfiltered exports, this is where you would see a list of your mailbox archives, and you could select a few of these mailbox archives. I'll select these three here and right click and say select for export. So that will tell our system that you want to export these mailbox archives, and it puts them in the list of archives to export, or the list of jobs to do. If you click over here on this jobs list here, you can see what it's doing. So here are some archives that I kicked off earlier that it's processing. These mailbox archives are being exported, and these are the ones that I just kicked off now. These top three, I just kicked these off. So as you can see, you can do these in parallel. It can export multiple archives at the same time, and you can actually click on this rate report over here to see the speed with which it's actually exporting data. If I refresh this, you see that it's been exporting data at the rate of a couple of 100,000 items per hour, which is a pretty good clip. Now I'm going to show you how you can do filtered exports from Enterprise Vault using Archive Accelerator Export. For us, a filtered export is the ability to export data from a journal archive, but only export data for targeted users. So the journal archive contains data for hundreds or thousands of users. Each journal archive does. You would typically have multiple journal archives. I've got two journal archives in this environment. So if I wanted to export the data for a particular person, then I would come here and create what we call a target. And in this case, I'm going to export data for somebody called Eddie Bobby. So I'll type in his name here and his email address. And what I'm going to do here is have it export all of the data for this user, though I could specify a date range if I wanted to. So I'll click OK here, and it just created these two targets. And I previously created several other targets here, so I'm going to go ahead and select each of these targets and right click and say select for export, and that puts them in the queue basically of jobs to process. If I come back over here to the job list, I should see some exports that were have been kicked off that I had done earlier, and it will also kick off these new exports. So as you can see, what it does is it creates, first of all, it does a search of, and here's one I did earlier for Erica Riggs. It did a search of the journal archive to identify the items to be archived, and then it kicked off multiple exports so that it could do multiple PST files in parallel for this user. So we get much better throughput by not having everything go into one PST file, which might be a problem for a particular user anyway. So what we do is we create multiple PST files, split it up into 10,000 items per PST file by default. You can change that, but that gives you much more throughput because we're actually exporting multiple items at a time for any particular user. And if you go to the rate report, you can see that the throughput is pretty good. We're doing, in this case, 137,000 items per hour here. This has been a look at Vault Solutions Archive Accelerator Export product. For more information about this product and others, please check out www.vault-solutions.com. Thank you very much for your time.